What's going on, guys? This is Gallifrey coming at you with another episode of the Salty Chat Podcast. I'm your host for the night, and my co-hosts will introduce themselves and go.
Yo, hey, it's Lyndon again.
It's Damien.
Mike Jones.
And I'm Austin.
And today we have a special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
What's up, guys? This is MTGHeadquarters from YouTube.
So as he has introduced himself, he is the MTG Headquarters, or Jeremy, I guess, as he's known as, on MTG as a Magic the Gathering YouTuber. So we're here to discuss, I guess, with you one of your the controversial video that you posted up about 6 days ago with censorship in Magic, but also just random stuff in Magic. We're all big fans of Magic here, so we're really happy to have you here and have this conversation.
Glad to be here.
All right. So everyone else, if you guys have any questions, you go off first. I'll let everyone else have a shot.
So what exactly prompted you to make the video in the first place?
Well, I think there's been a lot of... It was kind of a classic camel that broke... straw that broke the camel's back. I just seen over the past couple of years many things that seemed kind of sketchy. And I decided to kind of try to put them all together. Admittedly, probably not in the... I could have done better with the video, but to present some cases that I thought people would be interested to hear about.
Yeah, and I for one thing is like I mean, granted, you've said it before. You're not really a big fan of the Magic the Gathering subreddit, but I noticed like when I went to check on it, they did have a lot of lampooning, kind of like pointing out a lot of your flaws and kind of like almost at some points it was even insulting. Do you agree with me on this, Lyndon? You saw how it was.
Yes, I did.
And so one thing that concerned me is like some people seem to not take the message and just more or less attack you as you as your character rather than you guys as than your argument, I guess you'd say.
It was more anytime we didn't agree with what they were saying, that it was more or less we would say, hey, you don't like the guy, but his message is still true about censorship and Magic, and they would just disregard that and just say, oh, he's Jeremy's this, Jeremy's that.
Well, the thing about Reddit and me and I, or whatever, is simple. They want to dislike me. I triggered a bunch of people by tweeting the word cuck like a freaking year ago, and that turned into all of them saying I'm some sort of homophobic, transphobic. You know, it's like everyone over there is in year one of gender studies.
Essentially SJWs.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be more kind of general I'm not a Reddit user.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it would be such a hive mind, but it's actually very toxic. Like, their attitude in general is we defend everyone, or, you know, like hating on people is not cool unless we all agree that we don't like this person. And I happen to be that person. I mean, I even tried to address yesterday. I had somebody taking shots at me who I was completely unprompted.
Mm-hmm. I
I don't even talk to this person. And all of a sudden I'm the asshole. Like, people are like, what's wrong with MTG Headquarters? He's so toxic. He's cancerous. And the reality is, Jeff Hoogland basically calls me out in front of his 6,000 subscribers. And that's how Reddit reacts. You know, Reddit hates me, so it is what it is. I've made peace with it.
Other than that, I mean, I really appreciate your video. It sparks a discussion. I mean, for the most part, I agreed, and a lot of us here did agree as well. And we felt that we want this to kind of get out and kind of show that there might be an issue. I'm not saying we're like trying to be like conspiracy tinfoil hat people, but at least talk about it. And this point, it's like almost like the comment section was, for some people they didn't like it, some people they did like it. I like the fact that, like, I saw MTG Line even commented saying this sparks great conversation, because that's the one thing. If we don't talk about it, then they're just gonna try and hide this type of stuff.
Well, that's kind of the common thread of those that, quote, would see nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mentioned, for example, a common argument is I say what Wizards did to Zach Jesse was entirely wrong. And I think anybody who took emotion out of the situation would have a really hard time disagreeing. But because of the nature of his conviction, people just think it's okay to be unfair to somebody. And that is really, really disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is kind of like sparks in the conversation, like how in I guess United States where we live in is that we kind of treat our, I guess, people who have past felonies with a lot of disrespect. Like, that's why if you have a job, if you can't really it's hard to get a job when you have a conviction, a prior conviction. In his case, it's hard for him someone kind of like outs his conviction. I don't necessarily mean that like his conviction is to be downplayed, but the principle of how someone just immediately like outs him seems very disrespectful.
Well, I think, it's easy when you don't know any of the particulars of the case. Look, I'm not a fan of rape. I don't think anyone is.
None of us are.
Yeah, no.
But what I gather is this guy didn't exactly rape somebody. He slept with an underage person and signed a plea deal. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's not really my point, and that's not the problem I have with it.
I think
my
it was
problem
just... Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it was just more like that. It's not what we're trying to downplay what he did, but more or less how people react and how especially Wizards reacted, and they kind of just threw him under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, I think banning his MTGO account is I mean, I don't even understand how you would have legal right to do something like that. And that's extremely scary. What it translates to is if Wizards doesn't like you, they can just ban you at a whim and take your collection and bar you from the game. But they prop up guys like Patrick Chapin, who has a felony for selling drugs. Like, people don't know about that, but people don't care because you know why? Because he's good at Magic. And that's why I was like, whatever, it's in the past.
Yeah.
But can I add on?
Sure.
Well, see,
I mean, it's also the case of how big the crime was blown up. It's also, that's also the reason why they would be so.
Look at
Mike, let Damien finish, and then we'll get to your question.
So anxious to attack this one person to make sure to distance himself completely from this one person due to the amount of unfavorable publicity that they would get. That's what it basically boiled down to in my mind.
Well, it could be publicity, but also look at because rape is seen as a much bigger crime than selling drugs, obviously. So it's because of the nature of the crime being like higher priority. It's seen as worse than like selling drugs. Selling drugs is like almost like probably that's a lot of people doing that. Whereas rape is like a really, really huge deal, and it's also is more against moral justice.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I mean, I think if you put two crimes on a scale, obviously rape is way worse. But that isn't exactly. It's not like Wizards came out and said, "Well, it's cool if drug dealers play our game, but rapists can't." And that's not really their place, I mean, I guess you could argue that they could, they'd ban them from tournament play or whatever. I guess you could say that that's the right, but it's a super slippery slope. Like, what happens now when people want to get me banned because I don't like Hillary Clinton or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, how far is it going to go? And that's what's scary.
And that's one thing, like, I understand, like, they're not the government, so they can't silence or stop someone from doing this. It's their own private thing. But in this case, like, I think what you were talking about, like, also in the video, you're talking about how kind of, not sure if I misinterpret something, but it feels like you're saying, like, a lot of things are very cliquish. Like, they only pick a certain amount of people, and because it's all those people who tend to be within that group, they tend to just only kind of, like, boost themselves.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that most of the people at Wizards are left thinking, and most of the people in that state are left thinking, and that's totally fine. Where I have a problem with it is when it creeps into the game that should be, in my opinion, unbiased. I think they have every right to make bad decisions, but like I said in the video, I feel like I have every right to disagree with them too.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess the one thing also is, like, for me, when I interpret this, because especially like I guess they say, oh, he's like you've like the people claim like you've harassed like TCC or Manosaurus or any of these people. And I kind of feel like sometimes these people almost treat these other YouTubers like they're gods and like they cannot be any form of they're immune from critique. I understand, yeah, sometimes destructive criticism isn't the best, but I also believe constructive criticism, and sometimes even if it's a little bit harsh, should still be taken into account and should be listened to. But that's just me.
And this is how it happens.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, I just wanted to say that. You go ahead.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit my criticism of the Manosaurus has not been constructive.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a guy that tried to hurt my business and went behind and made some shady dealings with other YouTubers that people just don't know about. And when I try to tell them about it, they just think I'm making it up or something. So, I do have a vendetta against him,
mm-hmm.
but I have my reasons. Now, I will admit I probably should have kept it off my main Twitter feed because Magic players in general don't like conflict. And,
mm-hmm.
Everybody loses. Well, in this case, I lose the most because people pick their sides, and I can't blame them for that. But it is frustrating.
Anyone else having more comments? I'm kind of like trying to think of some more stuff right now.
I mean, it's like about them being mostly left wing, like left minded people. I mean, Wizard of the Coast has made stuff with like some racial discrepancies. If we look at like D&D, like or even the elf character type inside Magic, like they're like the elves are very xenophobic. Like if you look at that.
Yeah, but I also think they really try to play that down. And if you, like, I can see why you'd play that down, and I don't necessarily even have a problem with that. But if you watch their decisions over the past few months, and what I'm about to say, like, when I say something, I mean what I say what I mean. It's not in between the lines or anything like that. But, like, first of all, I always feel like I have to qualify it. Look, I have no problems with planeswalkers of any race or color. I have no problem with Magic characters of any race or color. But if you look at what they've been producing, it's like consistently forced diversity. Like the last how many new planeswalkers were all women. Now it's a black woman, or I'm not sure what her actual I don't even know. But it seems like they're going so far the other direction to try and please everybody that it's almost like, are you more worried about being PC or are you more worried about creating a good game?
I think what the thing is that, like, for me, like, I actually was excited to see that Kaya. It wasn't more like because, it's a black woman, but because, like, I liked her abilities. I liked her design as a character. She was an assassin. Race was more or less secondary when I first saw it. Caught my eye was when they addressed on Tumblr of all places that they got a consultant specifically for this character, which is like, in my eyes, it's like, so you need a permission from a representative of that particular type to write this character. Did you not do that for Narset? Did you not do that for all the female characters, for all the non-white characters, essentially?
Well, that's exactly it, right? I mean, I guess, like, that, when I heard that, like, that's just hilarious to me. I mean, like, 5 years ago, nobody cared, and now it's, like, such a big deal. But I will say, it's not like it's, like you said, it's not affecting the game, so I guess it's kind of like no harm, no foul. But it's like, man, if they would spend their time on I don't know, figuring out how to make standard cheaper rather than worrying about people's colors. Don't make a humanoid planeswalker then. Just bring, like, the hippogriff out, make that thing a planeswalker, and then people won't get offended.
I would actually like to see Feldigriff as a planeswalker ascended.
I would enjoy that.
No, let's not let's not bring that back, please.
Something I wanted to touch on. You said Zach was it? I think, right?
Yeah, the one who got banned.
I was reading the Reddit post and I couldn't really find a reason. I was also looking while I was listening to you guys discuss this. I was looking at Wizards of the Coast Magic Online official EULA or end user license agreement and the software license. And any reason they could have had for banning his account or taking his account and seizing his online ownership of anything,
Collection.
Sure, his online collection, there's just no reason for it. Any of the reasons they stated in the license agreement isn't in the article on his account getting banned at all. So
Yeah,
I have to wonder why they actually banned his account and banned him from all like live events.
I think it's just they want to avoid a lot of these like social justice bloggers who want to decry the game, even though they would decry for some other reason. It's just this one was just was an easy target for them, so they just wanted to throw him under the bus immediately. I feel.
I mean,
That's
if
pretty
you
much what
look
it
at this, all the people who are outraged about these like PC characters are either a very small minority or people who don't play it and just see the posts about from the people from the very small minority. Like it makes no sense to change what you want to do to please the minority of people rather than making your game better.
But
Yeah,
I think that's a problem in general though, because like you look at it, you look at video games too. People who don't play video games get mad about like how
Sexualized characters.
Yeah, how sexualized characters are.
Oh, the censorship of Street Fighter V was a perfect example, because in the beta that they had for the game, there were a few questionable camera angles and entry poses, specifically Cammy and I forget who the other girl was, but there were some
The girl was a
suspect
wrestler.
cameras. Yeah, and for some reason they removed the camera angles because a couple people, I think it was one parent complained, and they removed it from the entire game.
Well, people are so afraid of the backlash, and it starts with the vocal minority, and then what happens is people who cannot form their own opinions about things just get on that train, right? Like, if you're telling me this is offensive, it must be offensive.
Yeah, they don't actually look at it for themselves, or they don't do their own research. They just jump on the bandwagon, and it gets out of hand.
Can we look at Leafy? Because about Leafy's channel, right? How he starts satire, but people take it too seriously.
Yeah, Leafy stuff is really just satire, but
people take it too seriously and
Yeah.
insult the people.
Well, he's gonna end up getting banned too. You just watch.
I think it's-
eventually.
I think it's actually hard because he draws in millions of views, and YouTube likes that because it makes them money.
Right, but the problem is he's gonna end up. Yeah, the problem is he's gonna end up losing his account because people are idiots and not realizing it's satire.
I think
Well,
the more
I was gonna say, well, what? Here's the problem: is I agree that money's important, but you got to remember. I mean, what better example to make? He already got a strike for quote unquote bullying because of another active SJW. So, I mean, when will it end? And who knows how many... Do you know that yesterday people were actually calling my employers and friends in the business to tell them I was some sort of bigot? These people are crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny. These people talk about how we need to stop harassing, we need to start bullying, and stop all this kind of trolling and all this hatred driving towards them. But they're the ones who are probably the biggest perpetrators.
Yeah,
Were they really doing that?
Yeah, there are public tweets even. Look at Jeff Miracola, for example. That was publicly. He tweets me in the middle of the night, and he's like, who is this guy? And it was just some random person tweeting him a screenshot of me responding to saying, you can pee in the aether, not even, it was everyone thought that comment was transphobic, and I'm like, oh my god.
How's that transphobic? Every human has to urinate.
Right, I will pee in a urinal next to a man, woman, a baby.
Well,
I don't care.
Well, I self-identify as a black transgendered hamster who is also
my
Muslim.
goodness.
So I win the Oppression Olympics.
of course.
Well,
If anything,
I mean,
if they-
yeah. So I was just gonna say. So Jeff, people are contacting my sponsors. My sponsors are like, "Dude, what's going on?" I was like, "Just chill for a day, and the internet will forget about it because they always do."
Yeah.
And thank goodness, the people that are close to me aren't alarmists, right? They're not stupid.
Reactionists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad. I mean, it's Yeah, sometimes people make distasteful tweets or comments. Like you can ask these guys. I'm always very mean to them all, but they know it's just a prank, bro.
But you gotta admit, the fact that these people go through so much to make one person's life miserable show how sad their lives actually are.
But it also
Yeah,
shows
Like they go through so much work just to make one person like just as miserable as them.
Mike, you were saying something?
No, I was agreeing with Damien. That's why I was just saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
If anything, I would tell the person, I would say, people call you work, ask the person who picks the phone up or something like that, and say, could you take their names down or something like that? Because easily you could probably sue them for defamation of character and slander.
Well, there were people that literally went through thousands of my tweets and like created these imager like galleries of anything that may have been offensive, and I'm just like thinking that I sent out a tweet earlier this morning on my personal channel where I was like, how basically like what you said. I'm like, how pathetic is your life? I mean, you scroll through 10,000 tweets of a YouTuber, like
Just to find some that may possibly offend people, so you can get backup.
Yep.
well, and the fact of the matter is, like, I have a master's degree and a real job. Like, what are you gonna do? Am I gonna lose 500 subscribers from my YouTube channel that I don't make any money on? Like, I don't understand what their end game is here.
I think it's more or less for them is like trying to send a message. It's like for them like this, like you know how they say like they'll go all the way to destroy one person's life is because they know it's like it's for them they think it's like the moral high ground, the greater good. I become the necessary evil. In this case, it's not a necessary evil. For them, it's just I want to be someone who I want to hate on to ruin someone else's that I don't like, and I don't care how bad I look because so long as I'm in the right. So basically for them it just boils down to the ends justify the means, and for me it's like when you go that way you just become the monster that you fought against in this case.
And-
even if you
and with
want
the-
them sorry.
I was just going to say, with the means that they're going through, the end really doesn't justify it because the end wasn't justified in the first place.
Pretty much. That's just pretty much how it is.
When I talk about in the video about some other things, I want to shift the topic off me because a lot of the hate that I receive, like it's like I'm getting trolled and I counter troll and then I counter troll too much and it gets to be too much for me, and I'm like, all right, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So like that's the whole reason. So I'll even last thought on the topic, but like that whole night, all this went down. I literally said I was calling people a cuck or sheeple as like I was being
Sheeple.
ironic.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the bar and I was laughing, yucking it up all night long. I'm like, look at how triggered everyone is. And like, these people think I'm like some kind of crazy hate monster. And I'm just like, you guys know I was just in the bar laughing at all of you for getting mad. And then it just got too big. But anyway, so like people's, I don't know, I don't understand them. But another thing I talked about in the video that I think is important is that there are very few news outlets in this space, like none that you can trust. I mean, you have sites like Star City Games and Channel Fireball. Like literally, anytime they put anything out borderline bad, it gets shouted down or removed. It's crazy.
Didn't Channel Fireball have one by Travis Wu, I think, and when it got backlash, they took it down, and I'm not sure if that was a possible reason why he was let go. I think I can't remember. I was hearing this from a friend.
He got let go because he said he posed some hypothetical questions that were really stupid about he read like Hitler's book and he was just talking. He'll tell you the same thing. Like he should have been more aware of what he was saying. But Trav is like, he's out there, man. Like he is not some kind of crazy hate monger either. He was just like trying to keep the conversation going. Well, anyway, the internet attacked him. He got the same problem I did, where he's a bit thin-skinned. I'm a bit thin-skinned. He trolls, I troll, and then all these people he had trolled over the years. He explained it really well in his video where he talks about how he was cut from Enter the Battlefield.
Oh wow!
And they filmed the whole thing and they cut him at the last minute over this stupid internet controversy. And that's like a perfect example. They had such a nice bit shot where he was going to local schools and teaching people how to play Magic.
Oh,
They
dude.
cut it all over this thing. It's crazy to me. And how they wouldn't show him on camera at the GP. Like, I was throwing stuff at the wall. This guy has top 8 at a Pro Tour. If it was anyone else, he would have been in the feature match all the way through the top 8. They refused to put him on camera. There were rumors of people that heard. Now, this is, what's the word for it?
Rumor?
Hearsay. But only because I don't want to name the source, but there were several people that were there that heard these people talking about how they how they figure out how to not put them on camera. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Wow, I mean that's amazing. I mean, like it's astonishing how much they'll go to like just avoid this person associating anything. And it's like again, like people like what Damien said earlier is like these people who like they're afraid to piss off or to trigger are people who are just like don't even bother or don't contribute little to nothing in terms of Magic's like profits or anything. And that's like it's kind of sad.
It's more the outsiders coming in, seeing stuff. Oh, I hate that. Let me change that. Oh, I hate that. Let me yell about that. Oh, I hate that. Let me complain about it. They're not going to contribute anything, but sure as hell can say something about it. That's all it really comes down to.
And I remember another account of them during. I'm not sure if it was during a Pro Tour GP, but I remember there was a black-green infect deck that was. I guess the person who was running it was called Thug. They dubbed it Thugs and Bugs, and then they would Thugs and Bugs, and then they had to retract and they say we don't associate, we don't like condone that kind of behavior or like anything. The source they're like. We're gonna call it black-green infect. It's like thugs and bugs. I'm like, I understand, yes, thugs and with black is something. It can be interpreted as it. I can see it, but I don't see it as a really hateful thing. And what I thought was funnier was just like, it's like ironically in Magic, like they've had depictions of like whatever, like Golgari Thug. It's a black card. It's like already at yourself, you're already kind of like contradicting that you don't want to associate Thug with the color black. But you put it in a card where it is black. It's kind of an irony for me.
I got so triggered over that.
Trigger me timbers.
I couldn't even believe that was happening.
It's just a joke name for a deck.
It is, and
it's a catchy one.
Yeah.
That is. I'll admit that. Well, the thing is though,
like my favorite
associated with black. It's just like thugs are every race. People just act like it's just because thugs are associated with African American community in general, but they don't really. There are other people.
Black, usually green has some sort of bug creature, and there's not a lot of black cards that have a bug on it. So it's like green is the bugs. Now where's the thugs go? You find that out for yourself.
I guarantee you, not one person watching that broadcast who cared about Magic thought anything racist about that name at all.
They're probably just laughing at it.
Yeah,
On it.
And even if you did, you didn't get triggered over it. You just like, that's funny.
Right. It's just people who are on the outside. That's just the whole issue. No matter what we get into, it's always an issue of people from the outside. But Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, any of that.
Oh, and where did this deck go up to? You say?
I don't remember what. I'm not sure what tournament.
Or was it just one of the decks that was there?
It was featured.
It was
I think
pretty high because they were giving him like a featured deck tech on his deck. So
Oh,
he must
really?
have been like in the top 8 or something.
Yeah, at least.
See, if I was watching like the stream or the video of that, I would just be laughing at the name because I couldn't have thought of that myself, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's so much better than like red, white, blue, boring name.
America.
Yeah, like my favorite deck type is a teamer, and I have Surak, the Surak card. So I name it Surak Punches Bears.
Oh right. The 6/6 can't be countered trample.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, when I first got into Magic, I was in the Dragon's Tarkir set.
We all were, except for Steve.
Yeah.
You guys got in during cons. I was there during Theros.
Yeah.
I got introduced it right there. That was my first stat pack.
So he got Surak and named it Surak Punches Bears.
Yeah.
If you don't think that they renamed Fat Pack, at least partially because it triggers fat people. I'm serious.
A lot of us are fat here. We're not
But
triggered.
I'm not triggered.
Yeah.
I'm fat and I love the fat pack. They should call them fattest packs. I don't care. But I guarantee you, someone sat at that table and was like, I don't know, guys.
I'm a little
Call it
triggered.
overweight packs.
Big
What
bone
about
pack,
mild-
big
Call
bones,
it mildly larger pack.
double XL pack.
Oh goodness, now we're gonna get
Triple XL.
okay. Now we're actually gonna get it too far.
What about a fluffy pack?
Big bone
Okay.
packs. But yeah,
Live load.
For that, I think more or less like they're other than like the whole they try to kind of like avoid any kind of like things. I guess I also wanted to talk more or less was the clique. I guess I want to more talk about the clique because like cliquish behavior, like because the one thing is like, do they just randomly pick these people, or do they just pick people because they have that same message as them? Like they pick like sometimes you always see them like with like the Mana Source, with the Magic the Amateuring people, sometimes with TCC, but I never sometimes see like with Cybin, with Rudy. Well, Rudy's newer, but or anyone like of the sorts, or MTG line or anything like that.
They only support social justice warriors. This is a fact. Look at any of their Twitter feeds, okay? You have MTA, which is basically level 1 college feminists who took one gender studies course and dyed their hair purple and blue, and they're like rookie out of the box feminists. You have Tulare College, who constantly retweets crap, who literally said something like on his stream, I stopped wearing fedora hats because they're a symbol of oppression or something.
Oh my god!
Ow.
Are you
serious?
serious?
Well, are we defining feminists as in like they kind of like go to the extreme? 'Cause,
I
like,
think we're
would
thinking
say-
more third wave SJW college feminists.
Yeah, that. Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
Because like,
That's what I'm talking
Because like because okay, people consider I would be considered feminist because I believe in equality, like men and women.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, you too, Steven. Shut up.
My name's Gallifrey. You're triggering me because you call me by the wrong name.
Yeah, I give you stop doing that. But you get what I'm saying, like because we all here like believe equal rights and everything, all that. But people would take too far. I think I'm saying we should define that right now before people get more angry about that.
Well, I think my problem with these like third wave feminists is when they apply it to situations where it's not needed. Like, if you want to worry about women's rights, why don't you move to Iran or Iraq where women literally have no rights?
Because that require work.
The rights between men and women in the United States are, they're equal. And when you try to apply it to like Magic the Gathering, and you basically put out these articles, if you read these articles about women in Magic, they painted men as some sort of disgusting cavemen who have never talked to a woman in their life. This is how they paint them. This is the stuff, you know?
That's the main stereotype of nerds in general, though.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's fair to say. That's fair.
That's
But
the main stereotype.
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it
stereotype, but that's kind of funny. It's like, we had nerd culture blow up and become cool, or at least something to at least they can appropriate. I like to just now be stupid.
nice. Triggered.
To appropriate, and essentially, it's like, when they came in, all of a sudden they got to critique us, and they almost nerd shamed the people who were here first. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't go into like white culture and then just say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, y'all gotta change for me. It's like, but you're not white. It's like, I don't care. I'm part of your culture. I'm now white. You gotta do this. Like, what?
Yeah, that's a great way. You really nailed it. Because you almost wonder if it kind of became cool to be a nerd like 10 years ago. And I don't care. I'm happy that the game's bigger than it ever was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that a lot of these changes are coming from people that, it's like when I go out on the street, or when something blows up on Twitter and people are talking about like controversy on Twitter, like it's like the president was assassinated or something.
Yeah.
And I go onto YouTube and there's not like a single comment on my YouTube video about it. It's because like they're just these little echo chambers that exist, and people just stay in there. Like all these SJWs on Reddit, they don't watch YouTube videos. They only gossip about them. And people on Twitter or on Tumblr, they don't watch YouTube, or then they don't go to Reddit because it's too triggering.
Yeah, and one thing is like, with that, I guess back to like I was saying, I guess with the cliques is because like, they almost like, it's these people who are maybe part of it or who were part of it, but then they got into that kind of mental or ideology, and so it's like they only associate with you guys, with those people. But like even those who probably don't even talk about like politics, like who don't talk about that politics, like for me, like I see like Simon, who's great with lore, is like I'm wondering why. I mean, granted they give him preview cards, and so I mean they're opening a hand to him at least because he probably doesn't talk. He opened his mouth on certain ones.
They gave him a preview card only after someone told me that Talarian sent him a DM that basically said that he had a very strong control over who was featured on the daily MTG thing, and if you're not good with Talarian, then you're not on daily MTG. And as someone who's put out almost 1,000 YouTube videos, I've been on daily MTG once. So there you go. I mean, it is a clique of the most degenerate order.
With that, TCC has control, but ironic because he's been like, I guess I've seen him back when he was like still under 10,000 or so, and it's like, it's immediate crazy how he like, I guess if he's gone control over his influence. Like I know everyone like in the subreddit, that's not the best place now, is like falls all over him. I've met him. He's okay. I mean, he's been good. I mean, he's not okay. He's been good. So I didn't because I didn't say anything political. I probably didn't get.
Well, here's the thing. I've actually hung out with the guy several times, and I think we could be great friends in real life. Like I've hung out with him at GPs. We both like to drink, and we both are, but like I feel like he had to kind of take a stand against me because I'm bad for business, and I can't judge him for that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to troll the guy every once in a while.
For me, like that's a lot. Like I still watch his videos, but more or less just as a way to look at the products and see these things. But for me, like I won't watch Magic the Amateuring because not that there's females, people will try to accuse that, but it's because I didn't find their content very substantial or very entertaining for what I wanted. But I watch him because at least he has great content, great video content in terms of seeing like what the product and the analyzation of like deck box and such. But like for me, it's like I'm like kind of sometimes wondering how long before his I guess ideology seeps in, and I don't want it to like affect the objectivity of these things. And I'm questioning even if there is sometimes is there any objectivity, and I just don't know it.
Well, I know he charges like $1,000 to do a review video. I bet people didn't know that. But this is what I've been told by sponsors I've worked with. So, I mean, I can't blame the guy for running a good business, and you can't argue that he puts out great content. I can't. I mean, he's earned every bit of his following. He played his cards right. He appealed. He's preaching to the converted in many cases. So, like when he retweets some negative Donald Trump tweet, everyone loves it because that's what the majority of Magic players are, and that's okay. That's worked for him. But you can even see his channel's kind of dying because he used to get like 50,000 views every video, and now they're definitely going off because how many reviews on sleeves can you really watch? Like it's just
and eventually, you are going to run out of product.
Yeah.
Won't people say the exact same thing to you, like how many unboxing videos can I watch? And won't you start to lose revenue?
But
my channel did die. It
videos...
died a long time ago. I mean, I only get 10,000 views, and I have 120,000 subscribers. So he was getting 50,000 views for 120,000 subscribers. Now it's like 30,000. So people just get sick of you after a while, and that's just the nature of YouTube.
Yeah, it is true right there. I mean, you're like everything's like a fad. Eventually, it'll just die out. But like with that, I'm wondering like for you like you continually like do like for me, I'm fascinated with the fact that you open all these like fat packs and these old boxes. And I guess moving aside from all these like controversial talk, I do want to ask about like your just the more lighthearted stuff about your how you run these things. I'm very curious, and I guess with the old boxes, like for me, I like to collect some of these old boxes. Like for us, we had originally had a original Zendikar draft not too long ago,
which was fun.
Yeah, I still hate you, Lyndon.
What's that supposed to mean?
Your stupid freaking tokens kill me.
Oh.
Yeah, we
Someone say
have
tokens?
we have the best drafts.
Not elves.
We always have the best drafts.
So I guess what I'm more curious is like, I'm not sure if you want to disclose, but I'm just gonna ask is like, how do you acquire this? Because I want to go about acquiring this. I'm right now currently have a job, so I'm able to afford more of this stuff. Like I'm looking into getting original Modern Masters or the Dark Steel box because there's money cards and I like to have a good draft with my friends.
We are gonna draft that. Yes.
Well, I could tell you usually what I do is when you're buying, there's no limit to these, $500 original Zendikar boxes on eBay.
Yeah.
But the cashing out is the real deal, right? Like these people bought these boxes for $100 5 years ago, and they haven't made a dime on it until they sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I always do is I message everyone when I say, hey, I know that for me, I'll say, hey, I don't know if you're just a collector like me or not, but I opened this stuff on YouTube, and I wondered if you might be willing to sell it for less if you got to see what was in it. Like, I've used that negotiation a lot of times. I'm like,
I feel like it would
for
work very well.
Yeah, it works great because there really are some people that are just like, oh, yeah, you know what? I get to sell it, and I don't get to feel bad if he opens nothing. So,
Pretty much.
Yeah, right? I mean, so with the old sealed stuff, there was a point like a couple of years back, I think, where everything spiked out of value range whatsoever. You used to be able to buy like an old box for a fair price where if you got you could buy an old box of original World Wake, for less than the exact price of a foil Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Oh
and then
heck?
that's when I bought them, even there's a lot of people talking about when I first opened those foil Jaces, that was the reason all that stuff spiked. So I try to just reach out and just be patient because somebody is going to need to pay the rent. Somebody is holding onto that Zendikar box, and there's only so many Rudies out there.
Yeah.
Way more of them are guys who are like, I'm going to buy some sealed product. I'm going to sit on it, and I'm going to get rich. And then
That's
what
kinda with
happens
me
is
and
they
my-
don't get rich,
Yeah.
and then you find the one who wants to sell it.
Yeah.
Aren't you still sitting on some sealed ones too?
Yeah, I have a couple of Battle for Zendikar fat packs because I know immediately because I pre-ordered like a case of them because we were having a draft and I was selling it to the high school club that we originally had started.
And I got some.
Yeah, I pulled a knife on you for that reason.
Yes.
I got one of those too.
Yeah.
And
During that draft, I
Let's
opened this
explain,
card.
Miles hadn't done anything that day except pull a foil Scalding Tarn, and things got crazy.
Although I should have got more, and I was an idiot, and I was afraid.
I made an offer you can't refuse, Miles.
I know you did. You offered me 2 fat packs.
Whatever. But in the end, like for me, like right now, I'm the one sitting on it, but it's just mostly because currently I don't think there's much because Battle for Zendikar really didn't have much value other than just being the chance of getting an expedition. But those were very slim, and we just got one, and I was lucky, and it was the most expensive one.
I knew someone who pulled like 3.
Wait,
By the
what?
way, because the next week when I did my after I did another draft.
Oh, a Cal Poly?
Yeah, someone pulled 3.
Oh my! Wait, wow.
Okay.
Yo.
The funny thing about expos is like everyone thought they were going to be worth $1 million, but they really kind of tanked. Like the only thing that really held was Scalding Tarn. Yeah. I forget. There's a couple, but I just sold a Expedition Cinderglade for like $25. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, the Battlelands don't really hold much, but like I feel like I think it's gonna be a long term kind of thing rather than an immediate. I mean, immediate if you bought it like one pack you opened and you were lucky, yeah, you can make crazy money. But like for me, it's like I'm keeping on that Scalding Tarn mostly because I use it in a deck for Modern.
Well, and it's like a bond, right? It's like it's not going to plummet, probably. I mean, even if they reprint Scalding Tarn, which of course they will, it's not going to tank that.
No, because it's a collector's. It's a full art foil mythic rare. Before next, they're gonna pull out Ghost Rare and become Yu-Gi-Oh after that.
Oh,
No, let's not talk about Yu-Gi-Oh because
I don't understand the rare system in Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic's a lot simpler and less complicated.
Because basically it's weird. I don't even understand myself. And
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has like 9 different rarities. Magic has 4. I like 4 better than 9.
We have ultra secret rare and conspiracy now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kaya, please.
Yeah, see, it's happening.
Oh no, I haven't seen that yet.
And that is a literal ghost rare. That is a literal ghost rare.
Good thing we're drafting that.
Yeah, thank God. If I pull it.
If I pull it, you'll never be seen again, Mike.
What if I pull it though?
What if I pull it? Wait, what happens if I pull it?
You'll never be seen again.
What if we see
I
it
think
pulled
it
on
was-
I'm
MTG
not paid,
Headquarters?
so you keep it. Technically.
What if we see it pulled on MTG Headquarters a week later?
It'll be for sale on TCG Player 5 minutes later.
There you go. After you watch the video, check TCG Player, reload 5 minutes later.
But you know, we'll get like a 99% discount, right? Like a dollar.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll discount it $1 for you.
Yeah, see, look at that. See, look at that.
See,
We got
if
that,
90
look at that, Steven.
but see, Lyndon,
I got
if
a dollar discount.
See, Lyndon, if a 99% discount is $1, it's already cheap.
How about this? You give me $20 now, and if I open one, I'll sell it to you for $1.
No, dude. Don't do it. That's a bet. You're gonna lose. The house always wins.
Actually, technically, we weren't losing to the house that badly when we were playing crap.
That's a separate story.
That's a different story. That's on topic.
By the way, what do you think of the set so far from what they spoiled?
I think they did a great job with it. I'm not a big fan of multiplayer formats. It's not like I play it and I don't like it. I just only have so much time for Magic, and I haven't played a lot of it. But I think they did a good job mixing in a good amount of needed reprint.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of first-time foils in the set. I mean, Berserk, for crying out loud. I mean, I think they did all right with it.
And I think this is what I feel like should be actually the policy when it comes to reprinting. Because I guess they're so afraid of reprinting these power cards in standard legal sets. When it's like, we have, like, conspiracies become the beacon of it, because, like, Eternal Masters and Modern Masters, granted they'll reprint some stuff, but it's more like everything that is played a lot in Modern Legacy is only at the mythic or rare, and sometimes at the rare rarity, and so it's like, the amount of, and also the limited print, it's like, you're not gonna get it. I mean, sure, it'll dip maybe just a little bit, but by then it's like, it's a flash. It's like, come a month, 2 months afterwards, it's gonna be back at normal price or so.
Yeah, when they reprint stuff in like Eternal Masters and all that, I mean, it does come down, but not much. But if you look at a lot of the stuff that they reprinted in an original Conspiracy, it did do what it needed to do. It made the cards available. In fact, you could still buy original Conspiracy all day long for $80 a box. So that's what you want, I think.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's like
we draft Original Conspiracy?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
did.
mad at Lyndon still.
I do have to ask
You
your
piss me
opinion,
off every
though.
draft.
I do
Yeah,
have to
you're-
ask your opinion, though.
How
How,
it works in our draft is basically Lyndon somehow gets the god stalling decks, and then we have Mario here who annoys the crap out of me because blue, and then I'm last 90% of the time, so for one draft.
And then I just I try to build a deck type and end up building the exact opposite of it.
Yeah,
Like one time I was trying to build a stall mill deck, I made
You
an
built
aggro mill
aggro.
deck. Somehow.
Somehow Miles doesn't. Okay, what you need to understand about Miles is that he hates every other color except for black.
no. I
What he'll
hate blue.
do?
No, he doesn't
is
like blue.
I just don't like blue.
What he'll do is he'll force a monocolor in a draft.
No,
and
I
then
haven't.
wonder why
I
he
have not done that in a while.
But
I haven't done that in a while.
you will do that, and you will wonder why you do that.
Hold on. The last time I forced a monocolor, I want to say was actually I want to say it was drafting dragons, because I haven't forced a monocolor in a while. I've been drafting dual color.
have you?
Yes. And the last time I did a draft. No, last time it was sealed. Last time I drafted, remember I got I did well with a blue-white deck. I still don't know how.
Because you don't realize the power of blue.
No, do you not realize what card did I have that I won with? I can't remember what the card was.
Anyways, but back to the one thing. I guess that leads me to wondering your take on this, but why does it seem like Wizards is so reluctant to reprint these stuff in, like, I understand, like, with the standards legal sets is because, they don't want, to get out of hand and standard not to be healthy, but, like, even then, it feels like it takes them it feels like it will kill them to reprint. What is a card that needs reprinting right now in modern? Let's reprint. I guess. Let me just think. Arcbound Ravager. It'll kill them to reprint it.
Well, I think part of it is I heard this theory a while ago. I forget who said it. I really wish I could give them credit because I think it's pretty smart. It might have been on the Zemet's podcast. I can't think of what it's called right now. He's, like new cards are what make people buy cards, not reprints. So they try to avoid reprints because people don't get excited about them. Only a small percentage of people do, and I think that I don't think they're that worried about it. I think they look at things like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh that do have really player-friendly reprint policies. But as much as we hate these high-priced cards, you gotta admit that it's probably a big part of why Magic is so healthy.
Yeah, you gotta admit, if everyone had like a Emrakul and like Black Lotuses, it would not be fun.
It wouldn't be.
Well, Black Lotus is restricted
'cause
only to
then-
vintage, but still.
Because then the thing compared to when Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh with the multiple appearance is like, oh, everyone has this card. Anyone can literally just get this card and play it in their deck, and then just like, oh, this is the God tier deck now, and I can't win.
I think it's also because like they noticed how before. I think this was like I think I was hearing about this like back when Chronicles reprinted a lot of things, and people got mad because it devalued their collection. So with the establishment of the reserve list, like these are cards we'll never reprint again because we don't want to ruin, I guess, our collectors' faith in us essentially. And so I feel
find
like
that stupid in general.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, if you're gonna change your company's policy every time a Magic player complains, you're gonna be changing it a lot. Magic players are the whiniest group of people, myself included, that I've ever seen. So I mean, at some point, I guess Wizards probably just tunes us out, and they're like, "Look, we're gonna just do it our way because you complain either way."
I think it's just more or less whatever makes them money because I mean it's business. Money talks.
I think it's stupid for the fact that why are you listening to people who are collecting the cards instead of playing with them? Or also who have stopped playing but kept the cards in hopes of selling them when they try to get a higher price. So this really, it sounds like they're just being greedy and waiting, trying to like sit on a golden, like sit on the
Gold mine.
kind of like just sit
Yeah,
there.
the people that actually play the game don't give a shit about reprints. Like, it's the people that collect. Like, to me, I've always said, why wouldn't Wizards just release a from the vault dual lands and sell it for $600? They would sell it out. I mean, I still think we could see that kind of thing. Certainly, they have enough money to cover their legal funds if anyone ever tried to sue them for breaking the reserve list or something like that. Like, I just think they're like, there's enough money in Standard. We're just not going to care really about other formats.
But like, ironically, even if they don't care about their formats, why do they still reprint, I guess, Eternal and Modern Masters? It just seems like, oh yeah, it's just so packs. I mean, that's how I bought my Eternal Masters pack.
Yeah, so the whole reason they shortened Standard is to sell more packs, right? I mean, I don't think anyone thought it was to make the meta more healthy.
Funny.
Yeah.
Company,
That was like the biggest line
PTSD.
ever.
No, Collecting Company was terrible.
Yes, no, it was beautiful for me because I needed it for my allies in off deck.
It was beautiful for me because I made money.
No,
After all the Siege Rhinos.
Siege Rhino finally out of Standard.
Siege Rhino triggers me.
Siege Rhino triggers everybody.
Speaking of formats, I had to ask your opinion on what do you feel about conspiracy, and what do you think about like conspiracy cards in general? Because I myself adore the set because it's just the conspiracy cards make it so much weirder. The game itself can be really weird, but the conspiracy cards start the game weird. It's great.
Yeah, I think it definitely appeals. I don't want to like shit in your Wheaties, but it doesn't appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a group of friends that I play Magic with, really. And
Neither do I.
I play my LGS, right? So when I went to GP Chicago, I drafted Conspiracy until 5 a.m. in the hotel lobby with like Zenit and a bunch of other people that were at the GP with me, and that was great I mean, we were in the Hilton. All these like snooty people were coming in. We're playing conspiracy in like the middle table of the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
And like,
Stick it to them.
yeah. And like, I thought it was great. I think if I had a play group of people, just like I would play Commander, I would definitely play conspiracy. And I like that it's a little bit different.
Commander.
Where do you live again?
Oh my god.
I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All right, just move over to California, and you got us as a play group.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
All right, yeah, I'll start packing.
Oh, see, I got us a new person.
Yeah, where's he gonna live? Okay, that's the bigger
I
problem.
mean, I got extra. You got extra room, right? Let's get the other person out that's renting.
I got 4 cats though.
Don't worry, I love cats.
See, this is what happens when you take these guys outside to meet new people. It always happens.
hey, shut up.
You're not helping your case, Mike.
Shut up.
What I like also about conspiracy, I guess, it's almost like the descendant of the it's not long forgotten, but it's like it's very beloved still. The Unsets, the Unglued and Unhinged. It's like this is a more serious tone, but because like how drafting and all this stuff, this card affects things beyond the game. It's like it's what I really like.
Draft that at some point?
Do you have money for it? Because my job doesn't pay me that well.
Yeah, I think they should. I really am a big fan of them finishing that cycle too. Like, just give it to us already. Like when they released Conspiracy for the first time, I'm like, you dicks. Like, why don't you just give us a third Unset? I mean, I think Conspiracy is good, and I think now it's probably the smart play not to like reprint another Unset because like that was just some things are just better left in the past, I guess.
Yeah. I think in time we'll probably see how it is. I just like to think this is like Conspiracy is just the younger, edgier grandson of the Unsets.
Younger, edgier.
Yeah.
Well, because the conspiracy, conspire, kill your friends, and take the crown. It's like, yeah, and edgelord right here.
Kind of like that kid you always see who's always muttering, "You had to befriend because I shoot the school up."
You mean me? No,
Me, James?
Wow. Okay, guys.
No worries, we didn't do that. We wouldn't do that.
We're joking. We're joking.
It got
We're
out of
not.
hand
We're
quite
not.
fast.
We're just we're just like the school nerds essentially.
Pretty much. And, well, for me, most of the guys hated me at first. For a good bit. I don't know why I'm friends with you.
Nerds are really, it's the funny thing is, and I'll keep this short, but I think it's kind of funny how nerds are really, even though like society doesn't really, I mean, I think like even with like success of shows like Big Bang Theory, where they're still kind of poking fun.
That doesn't.
The show's popular.
To me, that's like blackface for nerds. It feels like.
Big Bang Theory, okay.
I
Mario
agree too. That's where I was going. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, dude.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but Big Bang Theory, like Mario and I, we're guilty of it. Like, we like the show. But at the same time, it's like, if this civil society actually thinks of us, then you guys have a problem.
The only problem is it's not true to life. It's just like, I like the show because it's
funny.
somewhat more intelligent jokes that most people don't get until they hear the laugh track, then they get it's a joke.
Yeah.
And then somehow think it's funny even though they don't get it, but...
All right.
Well,
I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know what Starting with Cat meant for a while.
I'm sorry. We had to cut this off. I had MTG headquarters got to run off, so I got to cut this off here. I gotta make a big thank you for MTG headquarters. It's a big honor for having you on our show. And we hope that if you liked us, we can in the future do this again. In the future, do this again. Sorry, I'm reading the chat right now, but other than that, I have to wrap it up. So I'm gonna say my goodbyes, and everyone else do your thing. All right, guys, see you later.